slightly dripping and standing up. Bit of glow.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, he was born in 1963, Christmas Day, and he went to school in Ridgeway, and he went to Sir John Adams, and straight after that he went to the army. Okay, then he was in the army, and he just seemed to have disappeared when he was in army. And well, as I say, he disappeared then in the army, and no one knew where he was. Meanwhile, he joined up with the recce's. He forged my signature to get into the recce's, right? But I've been there for months. We didn't know where he was. Then he was on the border, and then I never saw him for quite a long time while he was there, because everything was screened, his letters, we couldn't make out properly. And he enjoyed the army. Got up to a lot of naughty things, I would think, but he could tell you more what he did. But I was always worried, having the son on the border. You never know what's happening next. Well, his sister was older than him, and they had a happy life. And then when he was about 9 years old, his father died. And then he sort of took over the role of looking after me at that young age. He was always a wild little boy, doing things, like, I don't know, but good. Everyone liked him, was very popular. And, well, now he hasn't got a sister anymore. She passed away. So he's basically the only child now that I've got. And then his father died at a very young age. He was 43 years old when he died. He had emphysema. And then we just had to get on with life, so it was a shock when he passed away, but there was nothing we could do. What else? I'm not very helpful, I know. Because my husband was exporting, and we worked on the boats. And the one year, the captain of the one boat, he just fell in love with Darius. And he had to stay on the boat with the captain. And Darius had a ball. He was about 3 or 4, and he was catching fish off this big liner. And the captain was washing his clothes every day, because no women were allowed on the boat, you see. And I missed my child, because it's supposed to be a holiday, but the captain wouldn't let him come off. That was fun. It was like a cargo carrier. We weren't allowed to go in like the cabins, but the one time we were invited for his birthday, Darius's birthday, it was Christmas Day, the women were allowed to be on top in the dining room. And the captain had made an enormous big cake for Darius. Must have been about 1 meter square. That's how big this cake was. Okay, that was that Christmas. We always went there until, of course, and then Darius's father used to take him shooting a lot, because his father was like a hunter as well. Guinea fowl, shooting guinea fowl. And Darius was always with a popgun, trying to imitate his father. But he was young, 6 years old, when he was shooting with a gun already, a shotgun. And He's always like that type of laugher, wild. And he loves fishing. He used to play golf quite a lot. He's been married twice.
He has.
3 times actually. But twice. And he's got 1 daughter. But he never married that woman, his daughter's mother. He was very young when they fell pregnant. And the daughter's 21 already, 21 years old. Very pretty, beautiful girl.
What's her name?
Robin. She looks just like Darius. She's very pretty.
Does he see her often?
Not too often, no. And, what else can I say? Yeah, since his divorces, we always stayed together. Because he hasn't got anyone else really, family. So he's quite a good guy actually. He looks after me very nicely. Looks after his mother. He's got a good heart, very good. Although he was very rough. He's calming down now, but he was very, very rough and fighty, always in fights and arguments, and he was. He also did bouncing, at nightclubs. He worked for Thunderdome at one stage, and that was. And I used to, when he was still young, then he also did a bouncing job in Alberton. He was about 16 then, and he worked there for 1 or 2 years. Did bouncing at night. And that helped to pay a bit for his college, that money that he earned. And that was it. It's about all I could tell you about. He was always out at nightclubs and clubs, and when he was young. It's very quiet now. Really, everyone was frightened of Darius. Everybody in the south knew Darius, well, they still know Darius today. He was really out of hand. But he came right, and now he's calmed down, as you can see, calmed down a hell of a lot. Doesn't get into trouble. He was in trouble the other day. Did you tell you? Have you seen him? He pulled in at work. It was during the day. And the boarders that are working there at his work said to him, "Oh, there's someone just stolen a cell phone from this one girl that walked past." So they got into the car and they chased him. And they got him and they smashed him up one way. Really badly. I was a bit worried about that, but nothing happened. He knocked his teeth out and everything. Just 1 minute. Darius is fire. When he's on fire, he's on fire. Yeah. And that was the first and the last for a long time, I hope. Part that is going to be. I don't know. He still likes to go fishing now. He loves that. He really enjoys fishing when he can, when he's not working.
How did you feel when your son went to the army when he was 18?
Oh, I was upset. But I was more upset because, as I say, he disappeared and the police came to my house looking for him and they said he'd AWOL'd. And I said, but he wouldn't. I know he was going to enjoy the army. But he never, they took him for the border. Meanwhile, he was going through courses in Uppington somewhere. I didn't even know he was there. You know, when they put him through the recce, you've got to go through special courses and you've got to do special things. And that's what he was doing, and I never knew. I thought he was just here in Potchefstroom. And when eventually he got out the army, I was so happy. It was a worry every day in my life. And that's about all I can tell you about him. Just an ordinary guy now. Excuse me. Sorry. What did you?
That's all right.
What else do you want to know? What
No,
else
it's
can I
okay.
tell you?
No, you can perhaps just calm down first. Maybe a glass of water? Should I get you?
I've got water here.
So, do you know this friend of his?
I've met him. I met him already a few times. I didn't know him very well because him and Darius were always together. But they don't socialise now. If they bump into each other, they say hello and what have you. But they can tell you a good few things about that army when the two of them are together. This is him now. She'll know. She jumps up and yeah, that's it. She loves Darius. Now she went to the pool. Who's your father?
Kan mens kan ek kleur later weer. This is in Southwest Africa. This is they call it the sauna. That's where you get your water from.
When was this?
81, 82 around there. 82.
Well, how old were you then?
19.
Whoa.
Because you went to the army when you were 18, eh?
Ja. Was dat net?
Huh? Going to the army at 19, 18.
18.
When,
I was in
Chef school. You never went nowhere.
Yeah, partnership so far in Pakistan.
Salvation Army.
No. You know these believers, he never had any problems with anybody else, so why must he pick up a gun?
uh,
He said he's not at war with these people. So that's why he never went to the army.
okay. So, did you also believe that there was a reason for you to go to the army?
There was, yeah, we got brainwashed. In that regime, we were brainwashed that black people are bad. You had to kill them.
Just be on your toes all the time and
So with this truth and reconciliation, it's a lot of cock. I mean, I still have flashbacks from the border and that. We were told to do things that we were brainwashed, it's the right thing to do.
Shoot and kill and collect.
There's it. And now today, all of that cock, whatever happened over there now, for what? It's a waste. So it's a waste of lives, waste of money, waste of everything. Huh? Somewhere down the line, I mean, what's happening?
Something is wrong.
The RVB.
Serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, one living God. When I went in there, they told me I can get ranked straight away as a sergeant major because of my army experience. Then I done work on weekends and to go to camps and how people shoot and how they use the firearms and then I started realizing slowly but surely that we were actually fighting a losing battle. And so I turfed that. But I was still, up until about 5 years ago, I was a staunch RVB supporter. But everything just fell off the wagon. I might just
Hang on a minute.
reverse back.
Sorry, Darius, did you find Fred?
Yeah. Sorry, but Fred! How are you, my brother? Sharp. Listen, do you have any eye drops, sir? Yeah.
Why did I do that?
Hey?
My opinion of the army
No,
is
no, wash my eyes out.
It's,
still burning and I don't have money for eye drops.
it's a defense force, but I'm not a
Glaucoma, that's what I had yesterday.
racialist, antagonist or whatever. It's not my opinion. There was no necessity for me to go to the
By
army.
the time I got back, I
Waste of time.
As I got back to the office, the angel was going up.
And that's me.
I said, come please take me out. I can't see zip.
I had better things to do. I go to work.
Otherwise, how do you shoot?
My son went to the army.
Where'd you go?
I went to Mafeking 1 year. I was working. And there was that coup.
No, he's still in. He came in for the week.
He was
back there now, but Friday night we went to.
in the camp and I was in the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the interim, they asked him, they never asked him as such,
They-
but
In May, 28th of May.
who's in charge of this?
Yeah. So we had to
The
come
coup.
because we went to Clearly.
They asked the guy at the gate, who's got the gun?
Shame, man.
He said, give me the gun and let us in. They let him in, they took the place over.
Yeah, yeah, all.
That's all.
Yeah. Well, that's what he said. He says, don't.
In Mafeking, it was in Mafeking
For anybody to feel sorry
at
for
the
me.
time.
I'm just telling you what's actually happened.
16, 9. It was 90,
His brother's got a massive house out in Ridderwood.
94, 95.
He's got a
Thereabouts.
massive house out in Ridderwood.
That's about it.
He built him a kitchen like a,
Thank you.
a room on it. Okay. Well, if you don't come past tomorrow, I'll phone you tomorrow, whatever the case. But I don't have money to go buy that bloody stuff. Yeah. All right. Past
Sure, you got chilies.
Novemberland.
No, not now.
Novemberland, yeah.
I threw them out.
There's a
Okay,
Kunini
we'll
River.
soften it. Why?
On that river, there was a Red Cross setting, a home for the Red Cross.
What are you going to make?
So what actually happened is, when you see a terrorist, the whole idea wasn't to shoot him, is to catch him, to get information out of them. So what they used to do, they used to smear the whole, they used to get undressed in a nude, smear the body with fat, so you can't grip hold of them. And they used to run they used to shoot themselves with morphine. They could run 12, 15 kilometers without even dropping a sweat. We had traced these eggs for 3 days.
Who's in this?
The twos. 3 months. So what happened, they went into the Red Cross home. They were sitting in the eating mall. They had the AK-47s parked on the wall, and they were playing cards. And they were laughing because we couldn't catch him. The only way into this place was, we had to go into the Kunini River, walk about 1.2 k's down and cut in again. And that was crocodile infested.
From where to the pen?
Crocodile infested, which we done. 3 bus. As we entered there, there was
Yeah, why was the river? Sorry.
like a Vol River. Why?
That's wider.
There was a nun there, nuns.
Like in the convent.
They came out with Alsatians to feed him and what's. These Alsatians were so big, they were so big that a checker's packet couldn't fit over their head. They were big, they were like ponies.
Like a doggy.
In any event, the dogs went in, we were up in a tree, we looked for the gun, we walked in, we climbed up, and it's like a fibercast, precast room. We climbed up, and that's where we saw the mods sitting over there. They were playing cards, and the rifles were sitting over there. And you can't do nothing because it's dead ground. Okay, ready, fire, go. I'd started off with my basics are done in 81. I went to Potchefstroom.
Yeah, tell me more
Done
about
3
that.
months
How
of
you-
basic training on
How you forged my signature.
how to run and do this and do that and use a firearm. And then after that you get educated into what you want to do. You want to become a driver, a chef, or whatever the case is. There was a person called Captain Talliard who asked who wants to go into the special forces, but it's a short-term basis. The reason why it intrigued me because an issue of the Scope magazine came out, and they had people of the guys of the special forces in Namibia, Katima Malilu and all that. And he said to me, "You'll never become one of those." And I said, "Well, okay, fine." Not you. I was fit. I was strong. I had the ability. So, if you're under 21, you have to have your parents' signature in order to go on this course, which I had forged myself. We got sent to Uppington, 8 Sai, and from then we went to a place called Rimfos Mark, which is about 120 km out of Uppington. It was an old Roman sending station. 94,000 square mark. Not even aeroplanes were allowed to fly over there. It was a purely training camp. There's a finishing club. With it being so far, we couldn't afford to, we've got a 7-day pass. We couldn't afford to hike down. 2 days to hike, come here, and 2 days to go back, which left us a little time. So we saved that money up and we flew down from Uppington to Joburg International. That's where they picked us up. And our training, we started off with, I think it was the bark, no, the barks was lost. It was demolition. Then we done trekking. Then we done 2 survival courses, which we ended up most of the time in the Orange River. We had to climb on the plateaus. Now there's plateaus on top. All those rocks are the same size and they're round and they contain iron. So your compass couldn't give you the correct reading. We had to be by the RV at a certain time, a certain place. Otherwise you never got food and you just get forward on to the next one. Yeah. And then we done a sniping course there as well. Our last phase was here in Bereer, in Potchefstroom, Bereer, the equestrian centre. We done the barks there. The whole course was 9 months. Now, at that time, if you were on a 2-year basis, it's, you had to serve at least 1 year border duty. So, of course, the only thing we never done, apart from the recce's, was the diving in the sea. Yeah. We got sent to Ondangwa Air Base, and 14 kilometers away you got Indangwa military base. 2 years prior to us getting there was a big thing on TV. It was called Fundameshed. They had Alpha Bravo Charlie and Delta towers. They were massive. It took you 45 minutes to walk right up the tower, but underneath the tower there was water. It was a water reservoir. This Fundameshed character, I think there's about 3 people out of the whole platoon that actually survived the whole issue. They put up their tents. It's called a bivvy. And tents. And a tent pole is about 25 millimeter thick. They had a bra and obviously some alcohol, whatever the case is. And that's when the two struck. When they hit them so hard, that you couldn't, when you lifted the tent pole up, you couldn't put a pin where a hole hasn't been through there. In the event, he ran with his lieutenant on his back for 14 km from the air base, from Bravo Tower, Alpha or Bravo Tower to Ndangwa military base. That is where, from where we took up, you know. We got there for 2 weeks. We had to do climatizing because of the heat and X, Y, and Z. And then we got sent out on week patrols. Then it was a 2 week. Then we used to go out like a week, a month and a half at a time. At that day, we used to get over and above a salary. We used to get R2 extra on our pay, which we could come and collect on when we come back from patrol. If I can give some example, a packet of Camel cigarettes cost 75 cents. A beer cost 40 cents and a Coke cost 45 cents for a can. And then things just got worse because you hear things and you hear that black people are bad. They're bad. You must kill them or hurt them, and that's it. You know, you just got brainwashed into that issue. You had no other alternative. In the event, after going back from we had to go on 3 different courses to see if you're suitable, fit enough in order to do it. Of the 60 from Potchefstroom, 28 of us made it. For breakfast, we used to get 6 Ks with a gun pole before we had breakfast. Survival courses. This, that, this. I'll never forget once, I think it's just when South Africa got into the international arc of cricket. It was a Saturday morning. From the HQ, from the main center of this Rimfast mark, it's 14 kilometers from there to the main gate, and it's river sand. They called us up and said, okay, come. A gharry is actually a trailer with a waterbed on it. Then you got your sawmill trailers. According to the gharry and the sawmill, we were obviously more on the sawmill trailer than the gharry. We had to push it to the main gate and back. I've seen people fall. And just out of you pick up and you help carry and you run and you just carry on. Now the whole idea of the trailer is you got to keep that hook under control. Once one of those tires catches something, that hook pulls you and you fly like 5-7 meters, pal. And your chest is like at it. Your ribs are pop. Yeah, so that was before we went to the border. So really then, you're thinking, oh, stuff this, eh? You go through all of this just because of a doggy. They're killing wild people. So At that stage, you're really brainwashed. So by the time you come to the border, you're so fired up, you just want to pick up that rifle and shoot at black people. Is it? Yeah. We came across from the border, and by the time, let's get back to when I signed my mom's signature. I came back from my first boss after he was very strict. He was staunch. So I get him off to my boss. Uncle Dave, how are you? He says, hey, where have you been? I said, Uncle Dave, I've been in the army. He says, bullshit. The military police were over here looking for you. He locked the gate and he pulled the gun out on me. He says, the MPs are going to come collect you. MP is a military police. And the more I tried to explain, I said, Uncle Dave, he says, how did you get there? I said, well, X, Y, and Z. They had phoned the military police from Potchefstroom. But then they really organised, realised where I was and what I was on the roll pole at in Uppington under Captain Talliot. So it was hectic. After 7 months not seeing your family, especially my mom, and I get home and you're not allowed in the house because according to 3 Psi, which is Potchefstroom, you're on AWOL. I was actually held at gunpoint not to go into my own house. Okay, well, it took a day or a bit to overcome that problem. And then I thought to myself again, I said, why go through all of this shit? Because if a darkie that's actually making cook, that's made me even more cross. It makes you, it actually advances. My metabolism changed. I just went ballistic. I had no feelings for a black person. I thought, why must I go through all of this, all of the kaka? When I come home to my family, I'm still not allowed in my house because, okay, I forged my mother's signature, yes, fine. They had no roll call over there, but in Potchefstroom they didn't. So, things come to vices, it's alright. I ate cabbage stew, which my mom used to make, and I hated it. But when I came back from the army, from one pass, I ate about 3 or 4 bowls of that cabbage stew apple. That was home. That was food like you just don't know. From then we used to eat on the border what we call like shebeens and that. They call a cooker. A cooker was made of corrugated steel and used to sell X, Y, and Z. Nips, miniatures, beers, and we were broke up into 3 sections. From the 60 of us, 3 sections was broke up. We had 2 teams of intelligence, 2 teams of recon, and 2 teams of backup. Now when we got there were only 3 whiteys and 2 darkies. Those darkies were talks. A talk is the extra that they caught and they educated them that it was the wrong thing to do. So now, there's only 3 whiteys and 2 darkies. Now you guys sleep out in the bush and sleep in, you gotta sleep. Who's gonna stand guard? Do you wanna tell me that between me and my 2 mates, the other 2 oaks aren't gonna pull a move? How do you know they're not gonna pull a move? So basically we stayed awake a lot of the time. A lot of the time we used to do recon at night, and then day we used to go and lie down and sleep and hide away. Which I found it very hard. And it was one particular Friday which I'll never forget. Even if I had been in a coma for 7 years and come out, I'll know which day is a Friday, because every Friday I just get pissed. I was stuck in a tree very close to Manen's military base. The reason why I got stuck there, because things got too hot and they couldn't come and get me out because the intelligence was too bad. Was very raw. It was boiling. So what I done, I took my gun belt off from R4. I took the gun belt off, taped myself to the tree with my legs lying across the yoke, and a rifle on me. So they couldn't really see me, but I could see them. I could see battalions, 300 of them doing parade and talking, what's not even 300-400 meters away from me, but I couldn't move. Everybody knew I was there, but they couldn't come and get me back there because they were waiting for something to happen. And then they started with these strikes, Captain Gunter. Big man, white hair, big snow, looked like a broom. And only after that I realized I could come out, and then you're so involved in an issue, right? You know what I mean? You're so intense involved that you can't pull out. You want to sort the problem out. And it's just started bugging my mind up. I'm coming from Posh, if I saw a dog here, I thought, hey, the problem over here, you've got to fix this thing up. Which is so totally wrong. Which is today I can understand that the blacks don't like whites. There is a lot of friction between whites and blacks. When I came out of the army in 1982, especially in Rosettville in the south of Johannesburg, there was a time curfew for blacks from 7 to 7. Which still then, at that stage, made sense to me, because if you catch a doggy in the road after 7 o'clock, he's up to trouble. So we used to go to school cafe bashing, which a lot of white youngsters done. And only today, ever since a year ago, I would say 2006, early 2006, I became a reborn Christian, and then it really set into my mind that we're all living people, we just got brainwashed. I now drink, I have wine, I gave myself to the Lord, and I believe in God. And I asked for forgiveness, because we were at that stage brainwashed, completely brainwashed. The black people were bad. And all I can say is I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, those people that brainwashed us are to blame.
Where are they?
Probably retired, sitting with nice money, while all of us are stuck out in the middle. Which is so wrong. And I say to my friends, and well, everybody knows me, that if I had a chance to relocate, I would go to Southwest Africa, because what we're going through now, since '94 up until now, up until another 10 years time, Southwest Africa has gone through that problem. They understand between white and black, they've joined each other, and there's no drama. So, yeah, we are, I wouldn't say the third world country, I'll step down until about the sixth world country, because we charge first world price. But at the end of the day, if you really think about things and work it out statistically, that we are behind. We are the sixth world country. There's just nothing more to say. We are so far behind that it's actually frightening, because by the time that the black people have really come in power, government, okay, we say have their own government and what X, Y, and Z, but I'm talking about full power. The whites over here, they're not going to have a place to stay. You can't live. I don't know what to say. Well, what had actually happened was, what was supposed to happen was to catch them in order to bring them back, so they can get intelligence out of them, not just to shoot them. We had followed these three chaps for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And my corporal used to ask me for advice, and how are we going to go about it, and X, Y, and Z. The lieutenant had phoned him and said, leave it, just stand guard. Now, for me to stand guard over there, I'm not, doesn't work. I want results. So I took it upon my own initiative. Mark Ordendahl, which is probably, he's one of the RVBs that got locked up. RVB members, Mark Ordendahl, Ventersdorp. Him, myself, and CS now. We walked in the river, climbed out, climbed up a tree, saw them sitting there. And we had done too much and we still got nothing out of it. So we basically took this issue into our own hands, which I thought was right at that time. At that stage I used to carry, they called it a snotneus. It's a 40 millimeter. The round was, I would say, in the exit about this long and this thick, the 40 millimeter in OD. You put it into a gun and you fire and it explodes on impact. Which I had taken before with hand grenades as well. So we know for a fact that we're not allowed to be there. So you can't go walk in there, knock on the door and say, hello, here's handcuffs or come with me, whatever. It was you or me. So we actually blew down this little setup, this RBR room or eating more, and everything went with it. I set detonators off, which gave us enough time to, after the shooting, gave us at least 15 seconds in order to run to the river and start cutting across. Shortly then we were called in and we were all going to be court-martialed because 4 generals from the United Nations fell part of the Red Cross. Yeah, it was bad. And the more questions they asked us, the more stupid we got. You know, we done it for a reason. You made us like that. We done what we were supposed to do. Now how can, which evidently got solved out. Not, I wouldn't say solved. There was no pressure on it. There was nothing much was said afterwards. And it was just bad. It was all bad. I came in from from the border. My mind had lost so much orientation that when I put the half on, I used to put the needle into the middle of the LP instead of on the outside. I came in for a pass, and this you can ask my mother, this is a gospel truth. No, this is after I finished. I had got recently close to go to disco. And went into the passage, the main passage of the house, and fell asleep over there. And my mom woke up in the morning. She said, "What are you doing?" I had no inclination of what I've done. If I used to see black people, I got everywhere. As I said, it was boiled in our brain. Black people are bad. Get rid of them. If you see them, fuck it up. Knock it out. There's it. After 7 o'clock at night, you go and ride them over. Don't even bother eating, just ride them over. Which resulted in I couldn't come to terms with it. And especially in '94 when Mandela, he came in. And even before that, I was working for a company called Score Supermarkets. And one of our regional managers had just come back from overseas, and he said, it's just a matter of time that Mandela's going to come out. I said, Kak, you are talking the utter shit that anybody can talk to me. He said, Darius, it's a matter of time. When they released him, and I think he was in Tuinbach, I was talking to a couple of friends of mine, I said, you know, it's a matter of time. Someone's going to pop all this up. They're going to pop it. Well, evidently never happened. And yes, he did transform our country. He brought sports in. We've got a couple of business rights companies. In a person, he's a good person. He brought everybody together. But that should have been done 15 years ago. It's too late. We're talking about the Clegg. The Clegg sold out, not only for what he believed, but for the money as well. But Botha had to follow. We were stuck with the regime. Jan Smuts, Foster. They were so obviously orientated, but if you heard of black, they used to shoot. The 76 riots. Hector Peterson got killed. Yes, you make Kaka get shot, fine. But the whole reason was, he got shot at the back. In the back. So in other words, the cops' lives weren't in danger. As far as I know, to get a firearm license. Only when your life's in danger, then may you pull your firearm out and pop. He was running away and they shot him in the back. That's why there's so much cuck, which a lot of people, majority of South Africans don't understand. The cops' lives weren't in danger at that stage. So they shot him in the back. Which was wrong. In my eyes, if your life's in danger, you shoot it all. You come to men's to things, whatever you have to do, you do it. So, here's another thing, a lot of, especially the Afrikaans people, they don't understand what actually happened then. And it's going to take a long time for us to come right. That's all I can say.